Salam. Hope you are all fine. Today our lesson is about divisibility by 2, 5 or 10. So let's have a look. It is about rules of divisibility. Let's have a look on the objectives and begin our lesson. The first objective is to decide whether a number is divisible by 2 without performing the division operation using divisibility test. The second objective is to decide whether a number is divisible by 5 without performing the division operation using divisibility test. And the third objective is also to decide whether a number is divisible by 10 without performing the division operation using divisibility test. But before we begin our lesson, we have to understand what is meant by divisibility. So let's have a look on this situation. Hani has collected 60 stamps. Can the collected stamps be equally divided between 2 friends, 5 friends, 10 friends? So we have to decide whether he can divide it equally between 2 friends, 5 friends, 10 friends. That is, we have to ask ourselves the question, is 60 divisible by 2? Is 60 divisible by 5? Is 60 divisible by 10? So we have, should we have to perform the division, or do we have an easier way to have the answer for this question? So we have to understand the situations, we have to understand what is meant by divisible by. Divisible by means that is when we have a number that is we are going to divide. It is called the dividend. If we are going to divide it by another number, smaller number, that is a divisor. We are going to divide it by another smaller number, which is a divisor. The quotient of this division will be with no remainder, that is 0 remainder division. So then we say that this number is divisible by the divisor. So if we want to define it, that is a number capable of being divided by another number without remainder. Let's have an example. If we ask ourselves if is 30 divided by or divisible by 3, first, if we have this, the division operation, we notice that the quotient in this division is 10 and the remainder is 0. So this is a division with no remainder, which means that 30 is divisible by 3, since 30 divided by 3 equal 10 and the remainder 0. So, similarly, if we ask ourselves, is 14 divisible by 7? Yes. If we divided 14 by 7, the quotient will be 2 and the remainder 0, which means that 14 is divisible by 7, since 14 divided by 7 equal 2 and the remainder 0. Another example is 24 divisible by 4. Yes, 24 divisible by 4, since 24 divided by 4 equals 6 and the remainder 0. But can still we use another easier way to check if a number is divisible by another one without performing division? Sure, we can use divisibility rules so that we can find if it is divisible by another number or not in an easier and in an easier way. So let's revise divisibility rules together and to make our work easier. The first divisibility rule we are going to talk about is divisibility by 2. The rule states that a number is divisible by 2 if its ones digit is 0, 2, 4, 6 or 8. That is, it is an even number, and thus it is divisible by 2. So if the digit in one's place is 0, 2, 4, 6 or 8, this means that the number is an even number, and since it is an even number, this means that it is divisible by 2. Let's have an examples. The numbers 214, 156, 752, 390, and 508 are all divisible by 2. Since if we look at 214, the ones digit is 4, so it's an even number. 156, the ones digit is 6, so it is an even number. In 752, the ones digit is 2, so it's an even number. And in 390, the ones digit is 0, so it is an even number. And in 508, the ones digit is 8, which means it is an even number. These numbers are even numbers, so they are divisible by 2. Let's test our understanding. Is the number 32 divisible by 2? We have to look at its ones digit. The ones digit is 2, so it is an even number. Then this number is divisible by 2. Yes, 32 is divisible by 2 since it ends with 2, which means it's even. Another example is the number 936 divisible by 2. You have to look at its ones digit, which is 6. 6 is an even number, so this number is an even and it is divisible by 2. The number 936 is divisible by 2 since it ends with 2. Third example is the number 713 divisible by 2. If we look at the ones digit, it is 3. 3 is not an even number, so this number it's not even, it's not divisible by 2. No, the number 713 isn't divisible by 2 since it ends with 3. To the divisibility by 5. The rule states that a number divisible by 5 if its ones digit is 0 or 5. That is, it ends with 0 or 5. So if its ones digit is 0 or 5, this number is divisible by 5. Let's have an example. 435. The number 435, if we look, it ends with 5, which means it's divisible by 5. Another example is 870. 870 ends with 0, so this number is divisible by 5 since it ends with 0. Let's test our understanding of divisibility of 5 with another examples. Is the number 12,645,830 divisible by 5? If we look at the ones digit of this number, 0, it is 0, then this number is divisible by 5. Yes, the number 12,645,830 is divisible by 5 since it ends with 0. Second, is the number 72,501 divisible by 5? If we look at the ones digit, it is 1 in this number, so this number is not divisible by 5 since the ones digit is 1. No, the number 72,501 isn't divisible by 5 since it ends with 1. Third, is the number 401,630 divisible by 5? If we look at the ones digit, it's 0, so this number will be divided by 5 since it ends by 0. Sorry. Yes, the number 401,630 is divisible by 5 since it ends with 0. Now to the divisibility by 10. In the divisibility by 10, the rule states that a number is divisible by 10 if its ones digit is 0. So that is, it ends with 0. So the ones digit of a number is 0. This number will be divided by 10 or divisible by 10. Let's have an example. the number 100. The number 130, if we look at its ones digit, it is 0, so it ends with 0, then this number is divisible by 10. 130 is divisible by 10. Another example, 8460. This number ends with 0, its ones digit is 0, so it will be divisible by 10. The number 8460 is divisible by 10. The third example is 193. It ends with a 3, or its ones digit is a 3, so this number will not be divisible by 10. The number 193 isn't divisible by 10, since its ones digit is different from 0. Further examples or applications is the number 8620 divisible by 10. In this number, the ones digit is 0, so this number will be divided by 10. It is divisible by 10. Yes, the number 8620 is divisible by 10 since it ends with 0. Is the number 12,740 divisible by 10? This number ends with 0, then it will be divisible by 10. Yes, the number 12,740 is divisible by 10 since it ends with 0. Third example is the number 3,705 divisible by 10. This number, its ones digit is 5, so it will not be divisible by 10. The number 3,705 isn't divisible by 10 since it ends with 5. So we have 3 divisibility tests. Divisibility test for 2, 5, and 10. Keep it in mind. Back to our first situation. Hani has collected 60 stamps. Can the collected stamps be equally divided between 2 friends, 5 friends, 10 friends? The question is 60 divisible by 2? Is 60 divisible by 5? Is 60 divisible by 10? So if we look at its ones digit, it is even, so it will be divisible by 2. And it ends with 0, so it's divisible by 5, and it ends with 0, so it is divisible by 10. So 60 will be divisible by 2, 5, and 10 at the same time. The number 60 is divisible by 2, 5, and 10, so we can equally divide 60 by 2, 5, and 10. Now it's your turn to test your understanding of the divisibility test of 2, 5, and 10. Right, yes, if the number is divisible by, and no, if it's not divisible by. We have in this table the numbers 45, 70, 32, 115, 276, 168, and 910. You have to ask yourself, if it is even, then it will be divisible by 2. If it ends with 5 or 0, then it will be divisible by 5. If it ends with 0, then it is divisible by 10. I have solved the first one for you. 45, is it divisible by 2? No, it's not divisible, since its ones digit is 5, then it's not even, so it's not divisible by 2. Is it divisible by 5? Yes, it is divisible by 5, since its ones digit is 5, then it will be divisible by 5. Is it divisible by 10? No, it will not be divisible by 10, since its ones digit is 5, then it's not divisible by 10. That's all for today. Thank you, goodbye, and good job. Stay safe, and goodbye.